Vanuatu has the distinction in my mind of having perhaps the most zany citizenship by investment program. They have had numerous different citizenship by investment programs over the years, failed starts, failed stops, but they do indeed have a pathway to get citizenship by investment. We're going to talk about how it works, all the confusing details, and the pros and the cons in this video. I am Andrew Henderson. Vanuatu actually has several different tracks, not only for citizenship, but they also have a residence program. So we're not going to discuss the residence program today. If your goal is merely to live in Vanuatu and enjoy their very generous tax policy, then that will be a different video on the various ways to get residence. What we're going to talk about today is citizenship by investment in Vanuatu. And this has been something that has been really complicated. I remember visiting the country a couple years ago and sitting down with some very experienced expats there who've been there for a long time. And they asked me what I thought about this program, and I said, it's workable. People would come here, but it's far too confusing. And so after some failed starts and stops with flirting with economic citizenship in the 1990s, Vanuatu came back and revived new programs in this century, starting with the Vanuatu Economic Rehabilitation Program that was introduced after Cyclone Pam to raise funds. Then they had the Capital Investment Immigration Plan, which was introduced in 2014. That was later replaced by the Vanuatu Real Estate Option Program in 2016 and by the Vanuatu Development Support Program later, in addition to an entirely separate program, which is the Vanuatu Capital Program. So you can see why people might be confused about what their options are, and you can see why a lot of people are like, maybe I'll just go somewhere else. So there are two programs, kind of. The one program, the VCP, seems to basically only be available through one agent who occasionally has some sub-agents that work with them. It's largely targeted, as is really the entire program in Vanuatu, to Chinese. And so they've got an option that the numbers have been all over the map. It's generally in the low six-figure range. The more widely discussed option for anyone around the world is the Vanuatu Development Support Program, where in one sense the price is $210,000 for a single applicant. In another sense, the price is $150,000 for a single applicant, but that was gazetted, as they say, to only reference programs or people that came from certain regions or that came from being marketed to in basically Hong Kong and China. So it's really confusing. And then you figure out, okay, what if I have a wife? What if I have kids? I do know someone who has some experience with this program, but my trip to the island, this is a chain of 80 some islands in the South Pacific, I was able to meet in the course of a week numerous different people who all had their own angle on how this program was going. Nobody seems to really have a handle on how it works. And so a Vanuatu passport in and of itself is an okay travel document. What's interesting is they're currently negotiating to get visa-free travel to China. That could be very interesting. That's becoming something that more neutral countries are getting. And what's even more interesting, although certainly a long shot, is that Vanuatu, which has special transit privileges through Australia. Australia is a very difficult country to get any kind of visa to, but Vanuatu are able to transit Australia. And with China increasingly cozying up with Vanuatu, and a lot of countries seeing Vanuatu as a very independent country, there is some talk that perhaps Australia will need to step up its visa policy to appease the government of Vanuatu and offer their citizens the ability to travel to Australia without a visa. That's a very rare thing to have, and because of that, I'm not so sure that it will happen. But that is some of the chatter, because Vanuatu is very strategically located. China has been getting involved. The U.S. Would certainly like to have its influence, but never really had that much. Australia wants to keep its influence in the region, seeing that this is a country that's only a 3-hour flight from Sydney. And so there's just a lot of confusion going on, but potentially the passport could improve. What do they have? They have access to the UK, to Ireland, to the Schengen area in Europe. They have access to Russia. So basically a pretty straightforward citizenship by investment program in terms of visa-free travel. They do have Russia. They're one of now about half a dozen countries that have that. So that's no longer a great advantage. Where they lack visa privileges is largely in Central and South America, where visa-free travel is very poor. So if you're looking to be in Europe and Asia, it could be a decent travel document. If you're looking to be elsewhere, you're going to be getting a lot of visas. And so Vanuatu has a great potential to have a great passport. I was just talking to a friend of mine who works in the high-level investment migration business the other day, and we say it's really could be something great. They would probably need to bring the price down a little bit. They would need to end the policy of seeming to target different parts of the world. There's always been a great connection with Vanuatu, even back to the 90s, of really selling to Chinese, and that's really their market. Certainly the Chinese are a vast majority of the investment immigration market in general, but Vanuatu has always seemed to really hone in on them and build special deals with Chinese firms. And so if that were to be cleared up, I think it's a great program. What I would suggest is if you're interested in living in Vanuatu, they do have a 0% tax rate. It's a very tax-friendly place to be. It's a place where you can get a residence permit by buying real estate, by bank deposit. That might be more attractive to me. For now, I would probably look at another citizenship by investment program. We've got lots of videos on all the different options. I wish it would work out. I think the idea of being a totally off-the-radar country in this far-flung part of the world is very intriguing. Growing up, Vanuatu was our code word around the dinner table for something that was in the middle of nowhere. And that can have its drawbacks, but it can also have benefits, alongside with a very neutral country that's being pursued by different powers, along with great tax policies. It has a lot of potential. I don't think it's quite there yet.
Hi, I'm Andrew Henderson from Nomad Capitalist. I wrote this book, which you can find on Amazon, to distill a lot of the stuff we talk about in these videos and a lot of the stuff I've learned over the last decade plus traveling all around the world, teaching you about how to legally reduce your taxes, build your personal freedom, and create wealth faster. Definitely get a copy of this book if you want to learn more. Now, if you want to watch more videos, make sure you subscribe to our channel and make sure you click the notifications bell so you never miss one of our new videos with more tips on how to go where you're treated best. And if you're already a 6- or 7-figure entrepreneur and you'd like to put these strategies in place for yourself, go to nomadcapitalist.com and learn about how I can help you.